Welcome to my lab practical. The first thing that has been done is clean all the glassware. This is done with soap and water and just like making sure everything is clean. So in this continuous videos you get to see how I'm cleaning the glassware and I'm just gonna speed it up for making it faster. As you can see, the burettes follow pretty much the same procedure. The only difference is that this one specifically was cleaned with deionized water, filling it up, letting it drain, and then draining the rest. Here you can see the calculations that were performed for both the sodium carbonate and the HCl, which was diluted to a factor of 10. Now I'm just grabbing the sodium carbonate from the desiccator, making sure to close it up. Then the analytical balance was calibrated and cleaned. After cleaning, a weight boat is added and the analytical balance is zeroed to make sure there's no discrepancies. Now I'm adding the sodium carbonate to the weight boat, and after adding it to the previously calculated mass is closed just to make sure that it's not accounting for anything else. Then is taken back to the desiccator, making sure to close it after my use. Now to make the solution, I'm pouring some of deionized water into the volumetric flask. Then, with so much careful, I'm adding the sodium carbonate into the volumetric flask as well. And to make sure that I have no residues, I'm pouring some deionized water into the weight boat and pouring it into the volumetric flask. After mixing, now I'm adding some DI water into the sides of the volumetric flask to make sure that there's no residues of sodium carbonate. And now I'm pouring the rest of the DI water, making sure later on you'll see that I'm measuring at eye level to get to the mark. Here I'm just parafilming the solution as well as labeling the flask. Now I'm getting some of the unknown solution of HCl into a beaker. And then I'm grabbing the volumetric pipette, making sure I rinse the DI water. Here I'm pipetting the 10 milliliters of HCl, making sure that there's no bubble formation when I'm pipetting or that the liquid gets into the green pump. And then I'm gonna make sure that when I am reaching to the mark, it's at eye level before transferring it into the volumetric flask. When transferring it, I make sure just to press to the side, not pushing it down because like the remaining volume is already accounted in the pipette. Here the remaining is disposed in the provided container. Here I return the volumetric pipette and now I'm filling the rest with DI water and filling it to the mark, once again making sure that it reaches the mark at eye level. Once again, this is labeled and per-filmed till I use it. Now I'm doing the initial rinse with the Na2CO3 solution. It wasn't recorded, but I filled the burette up and let it rinse, dropping a few milliliters. Then once again I fill the burette up to the 0.0 milliliter mark, making sure that this is at eye level. Now I'm measuring the 25 milliliters that will be used for the HCl titrations and then transferring those into a flask. After transferring to a flask, a few drops of phenolphthalein, the indicator, was added to it. Here I started my titration process. This is my first trial, which was going to be also excluded from my data because this was a test just to determine around what point the endpoint was going to be, which is determined by a faint pink color. Additionally, I made sure there was no bubbles. During the titration process, I made sure that every once in a while I was rinsing the burette tip with DI water as well as the sides of my flask. After a long titration, here's that beautiful paint pink, demonstrating I got to the endpoint. Here's another example of another beautiful faint pink, and what I did was determine the volume delivered by looking at the burette at an eye level and recording these values, which was then corrected with the calibration curve. After having my titrations, I am setting up the graphical analysis to determine the pH after titrating for one of my titrations as indicated by the instructions. It was set up to be pH in the y-axis and in the x-axis was the volume delivered. Here I'm calibrating the pH probe, making sure I have an extra beaker for DI water and cleaning in between the trials. calibration. Now I'm determining the pH of my titrated solution. I'm recording the pH when it stabilizes. Now I'm disposing the remainings into the designated container. The last step is cleaning and drying the glassware, again using soap and water, and for the burette, giving it an extra rinse with DI water. And thank you for watching.